Now, Air India and Air India Express will also operate flights to Riyadh starting from Thursday, while IndiGo will commence Mumbai services from the same day. Other carriers have also planned to operate flights from Riyadh from Thursday. The Ministry of Civil Aviation is maintaining regular coordination with airlines and other concerned stakeholders to ensure that passenger movement continues in an orderly manner. Passengers are advised to remain in contact with their respective airlines for the latest updates regarding flight timings and travel arrangements. The Ministry will continue to review the situation and provide further information as necessary. All right, DD India Shubhendu Ghosh joins us for more on this. Hi, Shubhendu. To begin with, how serious has the situation become now that the conflict has entered its 12th day with the United States and Israel carrying out what they describe as their most intense strikes yet on Iranian targets?
Hello, Abhishek. That's right. The situation in West Asia remains significantly volatile. Intense waves of bombing are being reported by the US and Israeli joint forces on Iranian cities, in particular Tehran. Past couple of nights have reported significant bombing and destruction, not just of military installations, but some of the key historical sites, residential areas also appear to have been targeted, as reported by Iran. Iran, on its part, has also increased its capacity to target the adversary, their bases, the American bases in West Asia. One of the important updates coming in from the tactical change that Iran is bringing about is that it's going to use heavier bombs now, weighing up to 1,000 kgs or 1 ton of explosive, which basically means that its capacity to cause destruction at the site is going to be significantly increased. In fact, double the destruction radius is going to be increased. So the use of those heavier bombs and what kind of retaliation would come thereafter from the US and Israeli forces is also something to be awaited. But for now, it also seems that the conflict, to a significant extent, is focusing on the developments in the Strait of Hormuz. We know this narrow strait is a global choke point, as it were, for about 1/5 of the crude oil supply chains. Meanwhile, Iran also, it's been reported that earlier President of Iran, Pezeshkian, had said that its sort of allies and neighbors in West Asia will not be targeted. Only Israeli and American bases are going to be targeted. But there are reports of oil infrastructure being targeted, particularly in the UAE, by the Iranian projectiles. So in that sense, if you look at the casualties, most of them have around 1,700 people have lost their lives. Mostly around 1,200 of them have lost their lives in Iran. Many also in Lebanon. Remember, one of Iranian proxies, Hezbollah, is operating from Lebanese soil, and Israel has increased its action against Lebanon, especially southern Lebanon, the kind of inroads that it is making. It has sent orders for evacuation. So in that sense, the casualties continue to mount, and the escalation seems to have an upward swing as we speak, Abhishek.
Yes, like you said, Shubhendu, hitting oil reserves and conflict is already impacting global energy markets. How sharply have oil prices reacted so far, and what are governments around the world doing to cushion the impact?
Abhishek, the impact on the energy infrastructure and energy supply chain, particularly crude oil, has been most significant, in fact, historic. Such numbers have not been seen before. Just a couple of days back on Monday, we saw a sharp rise in crude oil prices from crossing that psychological $100 per barrel mark. It rose to about $120 per barrel. And then we heard some words of reassurance from the American president saying that this conflict is going to be over soon. That did soothe nerves of the people engaged in energy trade. The prices then sharply came down to around $80 to $87 per barrel. But the confusion, the problem is that global economic oil companies are also getting mixed signals from the United States. In just a matter of a couple of days, US President Donald Trump has said both that the conflict is going to be over soon, and also giving indications that America may be in it for a long haul. So, in that sense, confusion prevails amidst these volatility in energy markets. Countries across the world are doing what they can to make do with the resources that they have at hand at the moment. America is also trying to reassure oil companies, particularly the supplies coming in from Strait of Hormuz, that American warships are going to accompany, are going to escort these oil carrying vessels so that the supply chain is not disrupted. But this is where Iran is also putting its weight behind. It had said a threatening gesture saying that Iranian forces are waiting for American vessels to come to the Strait of Hormuz, and they will see the potential of Iran. There are these water mines that are being reported are being laid by Iranian forces. The American forces have also reportedly targeted some Iranian vessels in Strait of Hormuz engaged in laying mines. So it seems the next few days, the focus would be the manner in which the supply chain is going to be influenced by the power of the Iranian or the American forces. Abhishek.
And also back home, Shubhendu, Indian carriers gear up for evacuation support in West Asia. Air India Express, IndiGo to start Riyadh flights from Thursday. Tell us what arrangements are being made to assist Indian nationals in the region. How difficult, complicated or cumbersome is the process?
These are unique times, Abhishek, unique challenges, because during a conflict, we know that airspace is closed significantly. So it's only for a brief while that these airspace are opened. And when the flights can be operated. And India has been trying to utilize any such opportunities. Earlier, Minister Jaishankar, External Affairs Minister of India, gave the update since the breakout of the conflict. Some 67,000 Indians have returned home safely to Delhi and Mumbai, in particular, from different parts of West Asia. Remember, it is home to one of the largest diaspora of any country. Some 1 crore, 10 million Indians live in different countries in West Asia, in particular the UAE, working there. Also studying. About 1,000 Indian nationals were evacuated using Qatar Airlines this Monday. So in that sense, any opportunity available to evacuate Indians is being utilized by the government of India. Use of private airlines and also Indian carriers, as you mentioned, are gearing up for such exercise. But the need for opening of airspace is very significant in that matter. Meanwhile, the Indian embassies are doing what they can during this moment of crisis. 24/7 helplines are on. Advisories has been given out to people, Indians living in West Asia, for safe conduct during these times of conflict. For students in particular, they've been moved to safer locations away from the points of friction during this conflict. And also international border crossings is being facilitated for Indian students. For example, UAE, which has come under a significant bombing and targets from Iran. Students from UAE have been moved to Oman. Similarly, from Kuwait and Bahrain, students have been special permissions have been granted for international movement across Saudi Arabia, and from there, evacuation flights are taking to Delhi. So in that sense, the Indian government is in action. The Indian embassies are in action to make sure that they can extend all possible help to Indians stranded in different parts of West Asia. Abhishek.
All right, Shubhendu, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for getting us the latest on that story.